Well, build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die.
Hello folks, welcome to Longbangers post-match show. I don't even know where to start with this one. Like, I thought I was angry on Tuesday night after the game, but fuck me, it's like it's like an absolute other level today. A game where we actually really needed a reaction for the team, and there was no reaction. We needed a reaction for the manager. His reaction seemed to be just to fucking pick names out of a hat, play players in positions that they're not meant to play in, and hope for the fucking best again. With no real system, no fight, we go a goal behind again. There's never any realistic look at us coming back into it. Just an absolute shambles. So I want to really hear what everybody thinks of the game today. What things going wrong? Do you want to stick with Johnson? Do you want to try to move on from him? Are there bigger problems at the club? If so, what do you think they are? I've got Robson Summers first up tonight. Robson, how's it going?
I'm good, thank you, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thanks. Thanks for jumping on. What do you want to say?
I just want to say, I've seen a lot of people talk about the penalty. I personally think it's a clear penalty.
Mm-hmm.
It's very clumsy. The only thing I'd have about today's game is the off cycle is very questionable. I do think he's onside. I think the goal should stand. I don't see any reason why not. I'm not sure how VAR still got it wrong, if I'm honest. But the penalty, definite penalty in my eyes.
What makes you say that with the penalty? Because it was quite it was one of the divide opinion a wee bit.
I think from the angle, I've only seen it from one angle, so I'm basing it off what the angle I've seen, which is the same angle I think a lot of people have seen it from. It just looks like he's gone to clear the ball. The player's got there first, and he's hit the player, unfortunately. Which is then, I know it's soft, but the player's gone down, and there is contact.
Do you think there's an argument? So I can understand what you're saying, and I think it's soft, right? My view on it is I don't know how much contact there is, and whether even if there is contact, it necessarily means it's a foul. Because you see contact, in the game. Like, you look at the incident later on with Porteous in their box, it didn't even get looked at by either linesman who's looking right at it or VAR. I think that's probably the frustration for me comes is like, fair enough, if you're giving it as a foul, it is in the box. I think when you look back, it's right on the line, which counts as in the box.
Yeah.
So if he's given the foul, he has to give the penalty.
I think the issue is consistency, which you see in England with VAR, and we're now seeing it in Scotland. There's no consistency, which is the bugbear, and fans are going to hate it because it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse.
Yeah. What did you think of his performance overall?
Boring, no identity, just trying to get crosses in. What wasn't working, and if I'm honest, we have to keep Lee Johnson because we can't keep sacking managers and going round in circles. But recruitment-wise, that's where the issue lies. And I think in January, if Porteous isn't going to sign a new contract, get some money for him while we can, and then put that towards at least one signing in January.
Yeah, I think that's a decent show. I don't think, for me, and again, Porteous is probably a player that splits opinion a bit just now as well, but I probably wouldn't have be pushing the boat out to get Porteous in to sign the contract. I think if he's not going to sign it, then we just take it off the table now, and then see what happens in January. Stay available if you want to jump in at any point. I'll bring you back in. I've got
no worries, mate.
I think next up was Gaz and then Kaiser, and I've got Elliot and Dave to come to as well. So Gaz, I'll come to you first, and then Kaiser. What did you think of all that today?
Oh, I mean, just the penalty situation. If that's a penalty, then it's turned into a non-contact sport. He's barely touched him, and he's gone down, and it's just farcical. It really is. I mean, I've never watched the game. I was wanting to smash my telly up, to be honest. I was fucking raging. Just the whole thing, the whole show was just so annoyed, so frustrated.
And what do you think is going wrong at Hibs now?
It's got to be down to recruitment, Has to be.
I mean, so see that my argument on recruitment, right? Do you think we've got a better starting or a better squad than Kilmarnock have?
Probably on paper, you've got to say,
Or Ross County? Or St Johnstone?
Uh-huh.
And that's where I struggle with the recruitment argument, because I think there's big questions to be asked about recruitment. 100%. I think we've been unlucky with injuries. I think our recruitment looks a bit better if you've got Nisbet, McGuinness fit. Do you know, like if they're available, then your whole squad looks better.
I think the fact that we brought so many players in and we're having to play Stevenson in midfield. And I'm not slagging him. I thought he played great in the first half of the day, and the guy's is a class act. But I mean, we can't rely on that after bringing so many players in.
Correct. I totally agree with you on that point as well. Like, I guess I saw that when I looked at the lineup this morning. You're going, fucking hell, we're looking at Hanlon, Stevenson into that team again, and they're not. Like, I didn't blame them for it. Like you say, Stevenson played well. It's not like I definitely didn't have an issue with Stevenson. I fucking love the guy, but how are we at the stage in 2022 where we're relying on Lewis Stevenson to be the one that comes into our midfield to turn our fortunes around?
Do you know what? I didn't actually mind it. I know I'll probably turn that on here. I'll probably get pelters, but I seen it and I thought, do you know what? It's maybe back to basics a wee bit today. We'll keep it tight, or maybe do what other teams do to us. But we've just got shafted by refereeing decisions yet again. Aye, just frustrating, eh?
It is frustrating me. I'd like keep yourself available. I'm just going to go to Kaiser and get Kaiser's views next. Kaiser, how's it going, mate?
Oh, fucking dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Waiting for a reaction after Tuesday night, and I'll start with the positives. Lewis Stevenson good in the first half. I thought defensively we looked a bit better this week, and I thought McCurdy looked decent. So apart from that, we were fucking dross. Absolutely boring.
And McCurdy looked good when he came on, to be fair.
We just, I don't know if it's creative midfield. I don't know why we're obsessed with this fucking wing play and hook the ball into a cunt that can't fucking hit a ball on target. I don't know. That's 15 shots a day, one on target. We're in a bad way now. I know kind of a comment's been made there about Lee Johnson McCall just go sagging managers and that. Keeps going how he's gone, the decision will get taken out of his hands.
Well, you've got to look at the next few games. I've got Rangers, Livingston and Hearts. How many points we're going to pick up there?
Aye, well, you might get something against Rangers the way they're fucking going. But, they're running on about the same fucking form as us. Right?
He'll be away. They'll have another manager by the start.
I don't know why we're so obsessed with this fucking shelling the ball for the wing and that. Like, I think before Martin Boyle left, we're obviously we were a threat down the wings, and we had Martin Boyle. I mean, we had a threat at the wing, and as it is now, I don't think we carry that same threat, and yet we still persist in falling up down the wings and try to shell the ball into but might as well be to nobody, because we just can't seem to fucking get an all-in-out fucking poacher like that can just get on the end of a ball and fucking scalp it, man. It is worrying. Like, I mean, as I say, defensively we look better this week, but how do Hibs get better? How does the wee break come in time for them? Because they get to. I thought the subs are it. I thought the players, like who he picked today, was mental. The formation wasn't really fucking sure what the formation was for a good bit of time. I think there's a lot sitting with Lee Johnson, but the players have got to take a hang. Newell needs to fucking hang his head in shame. Pathetic performance today. But I pissed off with them. They're fucking annoying me.
The point about the players, I thought that as well. Like even like there's a point where there's a player you've got to be looking and saying, no matter what, I'm going to fucking do something today to make sure we didn't lose. But we didn't look like we had anybody in the team doing that again. It was just fucking slightly just to accept it. Eh?
Nobody's got the ability to take anybody on and take the ball and make something happen.
Elliot, I'll come to you next, and then I've got Paul and Dave after, and I think Keith's waiting to talk as well. So, Elliot, how are you doing, mate?
I'm alright, mate. How are you?
Good better, eh?
Yeah, I know. I just think we're so one-dimensional. We're so easy to play against. It's just balls. As long as you've got big centre halves there, they'll just heed the ball all day. That's all we do. It's just ball in the box. And if we're not doing that, we then just hit the ball up to Kukarevic, who I think's been decent, but he's not got the best touch. So then there's nobody picking up the second ball in the middle of the park. And I don't know how Henderson's still getting game time. In the League Cup, he was decent, but other than that, like I think there was one today, all he had to do was square it across the box, but he's just skied it over the bar. Just absolutely no composure. We've not signed. All we've done is we've signed young players. We've not signed any sort of experienced pros for games like that, where you're chasing a game. You need a bit of experienced head, not to show frustration. And I just don't think we have anyone like that. And we don't have a player who take the game by the scruff of their neck, like John McGinn used to do it. Like players with a bit of fight, like Bartley. We've not got that strong character. I don't think at all.
It's an interesting. I was thinking about that through the week, Elliot, about the character, and it was one of the things I think when you look at the rebuild that Stubbs did when he came in, right? So we're going to the Championship, England about 3 players or something to start with, and then he started bringing players in. And one of the things that he said he looked for was the character. Even like the character was more important than the ability in some cases. And it looks like we're totally devoid of that at the moment. There's nobody in that team that. You look back to Stubbs' side, which, by the way, Stubbs' side lost some fucking shit games. You know, like, he got beat by some teams now that if we lost him, we would be gone fucking rage. So there's no like I'm holding them up as a perfect example. But you never ever felt that we were out a game with that team. Like we'd always fight, even if we were shite, they would always be battling. But that's missing now, isn't it?
Aye. The other thing that annoys me as well, there's only one player in the team that does it, and Pochers gets caned for it, but he surrounds the referee. There was a bit, the commentator said it on Hibs TV today, was saying we don't surround the referee when a dodge decision goes the other way. We just don't put the referee under pressure. See other teams and they crowd the referee, you shouldn't be doing it, but we don't have, I just don't think we have a leader. We don't have anyone that leads the team forward.
Aye, I totally agreed. It was Kevin Harper that said that. I totally agreed with him. Because it was Henderson went on the edge of the box, he gets pulled down, and there's
no one said Henderson just got on, just got up and got back into his position. The referee's not going to change the decision, but you've got to make him sort of think about it. So if that same decision happens in the next 5 minutes, he then gives you the foul.
I think even with like say the boy Power got away with I think about 3 or 4 fouls before he got booked, whereas Sobriak gets booked with his very first tackle.
That Power should have been off. I think there was one last 15 minutes or something. I think he went on high on Hanlon near the Hibs box, and if that's not a booking, I don't know what is. Maybe there wasn't much contact, but if you're booking Chabrai for his tackle and giving a penalty for the tackle that he made, then surely that would be a booking.
Aye. I think there's to be inconsistent, but again, you're right that if you've got players that go and surround the referee and make them think about these decisions, they maybe not get the one that he's just made, but they might get the next one.
Well, exactly.
Right, stay available, Elliot. We'll come back to you. Paul, I think you're next, and then David, and then Keith. Paul, how's it going?
Hi, how we doing?
All right.
I really don't know what to say, to be honest. I mean, like everybody said, on paper, we've been up there with probably the third best team all the way. Obviously, I would say like sort of Hearts and Aberdeen, but we just can't seem to get the ball in the net. The one shot on target. I mean, that's absolutely disgraceful.
That's against the worst team in the league. Yeah, it's not like we were up against a really mean defence or anything. It was the worst team in the league going in. Apart from us.
Aye.
Would Lee Johnson kens what he's doing now with his team? He's got a team that he trusts.
I don't know, because has he really got anybody else that he can bring in to replace? Like, if there's somebody that's not playing well, can he really afford to drop anybody because there's nobody else there to play? I think Chris Cadden was unbelievable last year. See, this season he is an absolute shadow of the player he was last year. He's dreadful. His crossing ability this year is absolutely horrific. Like,
I think there was others kind of getting the fingers pointed at them as well that are playing no matter what. Neil being an example. I mean, Neil's capable of really good games, but I think the last couple he's been miles off it.
I don't know.
He's so hot and cold.
I don't know if Joe Neil was hitting a ball with a sandwich today or something, but fucking hell, honestly, it was just like floated balls every time.
And they're right to the keepers. That is, like, we must be the easiest team to fucking defend against. Because all the crosses coming in are floated in right into, like, the amount of go straight to the keeper's hands or they go over everybody's heads. right to the back post, and then we're chasing it and having to turn around again.
And I don't know what's going on with Pochers with his contract. I mean, I don't know if his head's not here, it's elsewhere or what, but I don't know.
If he's not signed by now, he's got to be away.
Aye, it has to be.
Do you think so? I think there's any point he's going to turn around now and say, "Ken, what, I've had a wee think about it, I'll sign," unless nobody comes in for him. But by the look of it, there's a few clubs now that are sniffing around, so.
Which is fine. I didn't mind that. He's made his decision, but Hibs have got to, move on from that as well.
Yeah. Do you think it was fair on Rocket to get dropped today? Was that
absolutely
the change you would have made?
I thought he was brilliant on what day was it? Tuesday. Wednesday. Aye, I thought he was our best player.
I think that'll be frustrating for players as well, because I think if you've had a good performance, you expect to be able to stay in the team.
Aye, exactly. Especially with the situation we are with Williams getting quite a bit of abuse last year, and obviously he's worked his way back into the team. And I thought he'd done well the other night, and it's a pity he was dropped. That's a shame.
Right, I'll keep yourself available, Paul. We'll come back to you, and I think I've got David next, and then Keith. Dave, how's it going?
Good apart from football, Matty. We had the misfortune to actually go to the game, so we're just travelling back. And firstly, I was going to say the boys in Block 7, a few of them let themselves down in the minute silence. That was the first observation of the day, but it was just another horrible game. Really, I thought we didn't have the intensity of the first half. As usual, we went behind before we sort of got any kind of urgency about us. As the boys said, McCurdy looked one of the few that could cause them a problem when he came on, but I thought we were pretty rotten again, and it's like back to the time when Martin Boyle left us. We never had anything in the team with any creativity or pace or nothing, and we were just kind of floundering and lost, and we looked like that today.
Do you think the breaks come at a good time for us, Dave?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I said, do you think the breaks come at a good time for us? Maybe let us get some players back.
I think maybe, but I would like to see some players go. I think we've just got too many players that are below par. I don't think Henderson's going to be a Hibs player as much as he's got a pedigree or whatever. He just doesn't. He looks out his depth. We've just got so many players that cannot influence our team in a positive fashion, and I think the manager's really got no much to work with, whether he's set up right or wrong. And you mentioned the Porteous saga. We're not defending well, but I mean, for sure, when Nisbet comes back, you'd like to think he'll have a point to prove and he'll kick on, but we're just looking like a team that's lost at the moment.
Ask Matty if any of the lassies can play for us.
I think an answer to that.
Get the lassies up front, Matty. It's Paul.
It's the shouts now is for the ladies team and the kids under 19s to get a chance. Do you think how significant, Dave? Do you think it is that we're missing, like the day if we'd been able to play McGuinness, Boyle, and Nisbet? Do you think there's a different outcome? I think we look like a different side.
I think the answer's yes, but we've not got the resilience to come back for any kind of dodgy decisions. Like the penalty, I still don't know what it's for. I've never seen it. I don't know if it was a penalty. I thought the goal, like Melkerson looked onside to me. I thought his ball was beautiful. It looked a goal to us. It just seems everything's absolutely against us right now, and we're the masters of our own misfortune all at the time. But I think, yeah, definitely, if we've got everybody back, the team's going to look totally different. But it's just a wee bit worrying how we're looking so threadbare when we've got such a big squad. And as Michael Stewart keeps saying, where's our identity? I don't know what we're actually what our style is. He's just kind of mixing and matching. And as somebody else said, I thought Rocky was unlucky to lose his slot today. But it's just we've been here before. It's like last manager, the manager before. We've had these spells where we've just not got any answers for teams that kind of press and make it difficult for us. But there was one instance we spoke about where the goalkeeper was killing time and he went to kick long and everybody was on our left-hand side, and 20 players were in a space the size of your living room, and there was just no room anywhere. And you know, like Derek McInnes is the master of ugly football, and it was always going to be a hard day today. But I just felt we were kind of maybe cheated a wee bit with the penalty. I've not seen it. I don't know if it was a pen. I don't know.
I think it was there was a bit of split opinion on it. It was one of the soft ones. I think you can understand why it's given. There is contact, and because the ref's given the foul, it's checked if it's in the box, which it definitely is. So, but then the offside, when you see that, they're drawn a line, and I don't care how big we think Melkerson's knee is.
Even the picture, I tweeted the picture, and you think, I still can't see the difference with that. How can surely the advantage has got to go to the attacking side on that one. Like,
maybe if he took his fucking
millimetres.
But that's it.
If he took his fucking hairband off, he'd be onside.
Right, I'm going to bring in Keith. Thanks, Dave. I'll bring in Keith. Keith went to speak. So, Keith, how are you doing, and what are your thoughts?
To be honest, I'm really frustrated at the moment. I mean, this is my first time coming on here because I just that match was so dull, dire to watch. I mean, at the end, I was so pent up. I don't know whether to explode or implode.
Did you pick one?
I'm still on the fence. It could go either way, to be honest.
What did you think about it then? What do you think went wrong?
This wasn't a defensive calamity. I thought defensive we did all right. I mean, it's going forward. It's getting those final balls into the net is what's letting us down. It just seems like towards the end, any player that just got to the 18-yard line would just blast it into the stand. Or if a ball does come into the cross, it's bobbling. Nobody can get a toe on it to put it in the net. Or if it comes off a Kilmarnock player, I just see everybody tries to claim for a handball and it's not even a handball. It's just so frustrating. That was just what I took on it. And
what do you think? So the one thing I think that we were really lacking today was that wee bit of creativity. And we look at the team lineup, I think 6 out of the 10 that started were sort of the 10 outfield players were defensive minded.
Mm-hmm.
So you got your back 4 plus Kenna plus Stevenson, who are all sort of defensive players. So I thought it was obvious we were going to struggle for creativity. But we've got Tavares, we've got Yuan, with McCurdy on the bench. You're a bit frustrated that some of them never started?
Yeah, I mean, these are the games that, you know, these players could have that opportunity to prove what they can bring to the team. And if you don't have that balance, then we can't really expect much of an attacking performance if we're just going mostly defensive.
Where do you stand on Lee Johnson? And would you give him more time, or do you think it's time that the club started looking at a change?
I'm absolutely behind keeping Lee Johnson because last season I felt the club there was just so much going wrong that it was like we took so many steps backwards that I think we need some stability. We need Lee Johnson to have that full season to try and implement his style of football, to bring in players he wants to bring in, to get the club back to where we should be. And I think we need the whole season. We can't just keep throwing a manager away every time something goes wrong. Like, we need to look at elsewhere within the club, like what else is going wrong, and I think recruitment's a big issue.
Aye, and so on the recruitment thing, what specifically is it you think is going wrong with recruitment?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know if the manager gets a proper say in the recruitment. The players that we're bringing in, they don't just seem to be up to the standard that I would expect Hibs to bring in.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Right, I'd be interested if anybody else wants to jump in. Just give us your thoughts. Probably going to wrap up in the next 5 minutes or so for 6 o'clock. So just to kind of get a sense of where everybody's where everybody's views are on Lee Johnson and whether we, is today another nail in the coffin, or should we all just kind of take a step back and say, right, give him a chance. Kaiser, I'll come at you first because you're first up on the screen, and then I'll sort of work my way around.
I get the whole stability argument, but it's just not good enough. And I know we're saying about recruitment, that guy's optional. That guy's no picking your best team out in the pick. Look at the day, he could have played Bushiri. To me, but look, I know we can't keep sack managers and that, but that guy's got to carry the can. So I'm going to say like into January, if we didn't start getting results, he needs to go. I'm not wanting him to go to now because maybe the break will give us a wee bit of good and get us injured players back in that, and that might Nisbet back and Boyle back in that. We might be a bit better, but we're fucking woeful. We're getting beat by Kilmarnock for fuck's sake, and that kind of says it all for me.
Andros County and St Johnstone and whoever else it is. Cheers, guys. Elliot, how about you?
I'm in a different boat. I think we can't just keep sacking managers, but I think if we are looking to sack the manager, then I think we should do it now, because then it gives the new man that comes in basically time to. It gives them time basically to. It gives them time to basically put his new ideas across in training. But the thing is, it's hard to see where the points are going to come from. So I think I'm about 60-40, 60% for giving them time, 40% for letting them go, I think.
Paul, who do you stand on
it? I'm a bit sitting on the fence on it as well, to be honest. I just think sacking managers again. Once you've done that, you're back to square one again. And try to get a rebuild and all that kind of thing. I would like to see him get a full season, a couple of transfer windows under, and see how we go from there.
Aye. Christopher, Chris, how's it going?
Good. I'm 100%. We need to keep up. He's been a decent manager. He's got a decent pedigree. Who else are we going to get if we sack him at this point? We just need to stick it out. I mean, we were shite last season. We're 1 point off where Hearts are this season. If we'd won today, we would have been third. I know things are looking really, really shite at the moment, but I think we just need to keep sticking on and see where this goes, because just constantly changing is just not going to help us at all. It's not helped us in the past. The change from Ross to Maloney and then on to somebody else will look like a laughing stock, and we'll end up with nobody wanting to come to us. So I think we stick with it. As long as we don't get relegated this season, we just need to see this as a transitional season. If we get better as we kick on and we can begin to get a push for top 6 and third, then albeit, but we just need to see this as a season that we transition. No worse than we were last season. We're a better team than we were last season. We're a better team to watch than we were last season, albeit the last couple of games have been shite, but I certainly have enjoyed my football more this season than I have for the last couple.
Maybe not the last couple of games, so
no, absolutely not, 100%.
Right, I'm going to bring in Andy, then Lee, then Dave. So Andy, Ron Burgundy, how's it going?
Not bad. If anybody thinks that we should get rid of the manager, they need their head read. We've been up and down and in and out for the last 3 or 4 seasons because of the nonsense of changing managers and being too quick to fire people. We're pretty unstable. We've been pretty unstable for ages. We need stability around the club. We need somebody that's got. I mean, the St Mirren game, it was absolutely brilliant. We're all raving about him, and we're going to scoosh third position. We've had nothing but bad luck against us with VAR. And if anybody can't see that, then they're not watching the same games as that was. That was a disgrace today. The one against the keeper a fortnight ago was a disgrace as well. The two penalties completely lost us the game. Aberdeen wouldn't have went on to win 4-1. They might have scored a couple of goals. We were dreadful in the second half. But if you take those things in isolation and remove them, the heads didn't go down. The flow of play doesn't go the same way as it would.
Yeah.
Things didn't pan out the same way. For people that are calling for Hibs and managers to go, I think it's just stupid, and it's completely sabotaging. I'm no Lee Johnson's biggest fan, right? And I think he's got a lot of potential, and it's the best football I've seen since Neil Lennon left. Jack Ross was the football was turgid. It was slow. We turned into a long ball nonsense, and it's getting back to what we were seeing under Lennon. You know, it's exciting football. All right, wasn't much the other day, but it has been in different games. We should have battered Aberdeen. We should have put them away. And there's been several times that our defences let us down, and it's not been the attacking side. You know, it's not been the attack in front. I mean, they've been even that kneecap today, been offside. Yes. And I don't know how many is Kukurevich, that word again. Kukurevich. How many times has he been called offside when it's been unbelievably like?
I think about 4 or 5.
So those moments change games, and we're in a bad run, and it's just a rut that's against us at the minute. I just can't understand why people just want to throw the club back into turmoil, and then you've got to pay for another manager to come in, and then pay somebody else's wages again. It's just nonsense, and I really didn't think people are thinking about what they're saying when they're coming about that.
Nice one. Cheers, Andy. Lee, what about you next? How's it going, mate?
Aye, not bad, mate. I suppose the point for me is that how many times can you openly criticise players interview after interview? Do you honestly think that looks like a team that's for the manager?
So they did, and they looked like they were playing. I didn't think it on Tuesday night either. It was one of the questions that came up on the podcast after the Celtic game, I think, when he went to town really on the players, didn't he? And even on Tuesday night, I thought his wording was really sort of, what did he say? He said, like, I need to take the blame, or I take responsibility because I need to protect the players. And he's not saying I need to take responsibility because I'm responsible for it. What he's saying there is, really, if I hadn't already slaughtered them, I'd be telling you now that I've been the players, but I'm going to say that it's my fault because if I didn't, then there's going to be uproar.
Well, absolutely, because then he goes and smashes Mitchell. Do you know what I mean? Like he then criticises Mitchell. Obviously, Mitchell's had some leak, and obviously congratulations to him and whatnot. But ultimately, threw Mitchell under the bus. He's done it with a few other players over the last few weeks as well. We know how this lands, Matty. At the end of the day, is if they keep openly criticising the players aren't going to give a toss for him, and then there's only going to be one outcome. It's happened before.
Can your boss not give you a right for doing something wrong?
Do you not think it's better doing that in private, though?
No, really not. Not really, because
Henderson, he gave him a huge amount of back and played him in the next game when I didn't think he should have been played, and he didn't repair. So no matter what he's doing, I don't think it's necessarily just the manager. The players have to look at it themselves.
Also, with the manager as well, what happens if we sack him, bring in our manager, and the players do the exact same again because they done it under Maloney? And towards the end of Jack Ross, you could say it was the same as well. So who's to say that the next manager bring in, it could be world class, but if the players don't like his ideas or they're not playing for him, if he slags them off in the media, then we can't just keep sacking managers just because the players aren't happy.
And I think when you see like a performance on Tuesday night and the day, there's quite a lot of players in the team that played both games, played in the Maloney as well. So like. It's more than one manager that it's happening to, so the players definitely need to have a look. Tuesday, we're going to bring in Dave Thompson. Dave, are you going to come and tell us how good Paul Hanlon was?
Well, I'm kind of thinking...
sorry, wrong Dave. Sorry, I mean Dave Graham. Sorry, Dave. Dave Graham was waiting.
All right, okay.
It's Paul Hanlon was. Sure, I'll come back to you in a wee minute. We'll get Dave Graham in first just because he's been waiting. Sorry. Dave Graham, you there? He's piping now anyway. All right, I'll come back to you, Dave.
I think the board could do themselves pretty good, and the manager, if we got a director of football in, because this is the problem starting for. We've not got anybody at recruitment level that's really understanding what we need. And I think this manager and the previous managers have suffered for that. And I think we just got a football man up there to kind of navigate to hold the board's hand, the recruitment department, whatever you want to call it, to direct them, to give them good football and insight into the players we need and the players we're buying and kind of what lengthy contracts we're giving people. And I think also, if anybody thinks that they can unseat a manager, they shouldn't be at our club. That's, for me, I would change the whole team that was in there. And the manager, I think, should be backed 100% by the fans and the board He should be given another 2 windows at least. But we have to get football people signing football players, and I think that's where.
Have you agree with that? Graham Matthews seems to like potential to bring air up that we're going to be playing them next season.
Well, I mean, there's a good shout there. I mean, Graham, I thought did a really good job at Hibs. I know he kind of got criticised for, I think it was like not selling Josh Doig. It was almost like, I think, the nail in his coffin. But I always thought Graham Matthews did a cracking job at Hibs. We definitely need somebody of that ilk. I think at the club, whether it's Matthews or any other.
See some of the interviews that Gordon's made when he said that he'd done his due diligence looking into buying the club. He says that the average manager has got an 18-month kind of time span, and I thought at the time, well, how could you possibly not have a director of football in place if that's the turnaround of your manager? Because if you're changing the ethos of the club every 18 months on average, then that doesn't seem right to me. You know, you need stability. You need one guy to say, this is how we play football. This is the type of player we look at buying. If you choose every 18 months, then you're not hiding anything.
Yeah, you're spot on. Absolutely spot on.
You've got to feel for Steve Keane that every so often he's got to change what he's doing with the youth development as well. If there's a different figurehead at the front.
Matty, who was the lad that worked in it? I think he was ex-Celtic and he retired a few years ago. Matty kind of took his job. I think he was the guy that was pulling the strings, the McGinns, and he was the boy that was kind of tutoring Matty. And I think
George Craig.
George Craig. We need somebody like him at the club, in my opinion.
I think definitely that sort of role is lacking. I think we're feeling it now. So I think it's like a common goal for clubs to have, and I'm not sure, but reading between the lines, I felt that when Ben Kensel came on, he felt he could take over some of those duties and split the rest with Ian Gordon and the recruitment team. And I don't think that's really working. I think if we were all kind of being objective in our appraisals, I think it'd be safe to say that there are some big gaps there.
I mean, they've done fantastic with the corporate side, and that's their background. They're corporate people, and they're being successful in that kind of arena. But let's get someone with football expertise to improve our football.
Maybe the missing link.
I also think we need to not go too crazy on all of this. I mean, a couple of decisions, we were shocking today in some ways, but still, a couple of decisions go the other way, and we're sitting in third today. And this call is going to be entirely different. I just think we just need to give it a wee bit of time.
It's fine margins.
It's knee-jerk reactions, though. It's a knee-jerk Hibs reaction. It's across the board. Every platform that you look on, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, anything, it's the same thing, though. One or two slips on from Lee Johnson or Porto or Hanlon, and the fans come down on them like it's a right. It's bollocks, and I can't believe people are shouting for the manager's heat. It's just nonsense, in my opinion.
And it's the same people that seem to like to come on. I had a wee bit of a Twitter back and forward with somebody this week, and it was like 3 days later he came back to me and was like, "What I'm looking for is a win against Ross County." And I'm like, "Fuck's sake, man! Like we are doing there's some good stuff going on here. I just think we just need to stick with it for a bit. I mean, this change is it's doing my head in. It's the next Messiah comes along and we think he's going to be brilliant, and then we start all over again."
Can I ask you a question, right? See if Jack Ross had that team, do you think he would have got better results?
No. It would have been boring as well.
So wait now, sorry, but just all shouting here saying in the last 7 games, losing 6 of them, that's good enough for Hibs. Is that what we're saying here?
No, absolutely not.
But should we just, because we lost 6 or 7, should we just get rid of the manager then? Well,
what I'm saying though is if we are losing 6 out of 7 and that's going to go to fucking 10, then we should definitely be talking about it.
Oh, so it's the right debate to have. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we just can't keep changing it. We won 4 out of 4.
Aye, I know, right? And then we've collapsed, right? And we have collapsed. Whatever way you want to look at it, we've collapsed, right? So who's responsible for that? And how do we fix it? And obviously the players have got a hand in it. But and I know what you're saying. Listen, you're going, you're jumping the gun too quickly and that. But you're a football supporter. You're going there to watch your team. Listen, we're high bees, but we're getting beat by bottom of the fucking league. Dundee, St Mirren, fucking Ross County, Kilmarnock. We're not getting beat by Rangers, Celtic, Hearts and that. And the teams that we played, we should have come away with results. And I know what you're saying about VAR and that. That's a fucking excuse. End of the day, a penalty decision going against you and a shitty decision. We should have the character to be able to win the fucking games. Not just die on our back like we're doing week in, week out.
Kaiser, you're 100% right. We should be getting angry as fuck at this, and we should be shouting as much as this. But as a fans forum, we're kind of chatting away saying, do we really want to change it again? We should be shouting at Johnson, we should be shouting at him, he should be really feeling the pressure. But I just don't think we should be changing it at the moment. I 100% think that he should be have his toes to the fire.
So how do you feel? Is it Boxing Day that we play Hearts? At the end of Boxing Day, we get fucking pulled apart and we're lost 3 games in a row. Rangers, Livingston, and Hearts. How do you feel then?
I still think we need to stick by it. We need to give somebody a season at least.
I'm playing devil's advocate here. I don't know.
I know that.
I'm going to Costco after this to get a fucking multi-pack of bleach anyway.
They're in size, aye.
Listen, well, the Hibs game is worrying because
need to start looking at it to that. I'm sort of overran a wee bit to the deadline that I had. So I've looked at tweets that I would have gone through, but we'll take them into Longbangers at the weekend, and we'll cover probably the director of football bit. And I think Kaiser, your point there about the accepting it and how we challenge it in the right way. Which is, I think, what Chris is saying as well. I think actually both of you make valid points, although there's a sort of a bit of a disagreement there. Actually, there's merit in both sides of that conversation. So we'll pick it up either in Longbangers, or we might just do the full extra time episode for subscribers on that, the director of football, and then accepting that level of performance, and when does it become the point where you can't accept it anymore. So we'll pick that up. If there's anything else that you want us to talk about, send me a wee tweet, and we'll pick it up in Longbangers when we record tomorrow. So I think Colin's not seen the game so far. He was through Hamden for one of the Hibs girls teams. I said, you can miss the first half or just watch Sports Scene highlights and you'll get the gist of it, because I mean there was nothing else really happened in the game, so the Sports Scene will be enough to watch it. But if there's anything you want us to pick up, just send us a wee tweet and we'll cover it off as best we can in the podcast. If you're not already subscribing, click on the wee link in our profile. You can subscribe, you get all the extra content that we've recorded already. That's all available immediately. It's £3 a month, and you'll get all the extra episodes as they go live as well. You get them earlier than the general release. Also, and no adverts on them, because if you didn't subscribe, you get adverts on our episodes. So if you want to ditch them, just subscribe. You didn't get any. Guys, thanks very much for coming on. Brilliant conversation. I wish I could have kept it going a wee bit longer, but I need to shoot. So thanks for coming on, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers.
County line I pledged upon. Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink what I know.